Hello, Lopez Academy students and families. It's Mr. Carroll. We hope that you are having a wonderful spring break so far. We do have some very important information to share, though, with our students and our families that could not wait until we return. So please take the time to watch this video with your student, as it has some important information for both the blended learning students and our students that are staying fully virtual when our format changes next month. So some of the things we're going to discuss in this video include an overview of the new schedules. Once again, everybody's schedule will change on April 19th. The teachers will not change, but the time of day that students access live instruction, either in person or virtually, will change on April the 19th. We're going to talk about also physically returning to campus. So entry procedures, how students are going to walk around our campus, how students are going to eat, use the restrooms, logistics on our campus. We're going to discuss that as well. We're going to talk about how parents, if you choose to, you can request a change of student placement. So if you requested blended learning in person for your student, but you now want to change that to distance, or the other way around, you request a distance and now want in person, we're going to talk about how you can do that, and know there also is a priority of March 30th to do that. So please stay tuned for that, as you'll want to act right away on that if you do want to make a request. We're also going to talk about some new Wednesday procedures for our students. Wednesday is going to change a little bit for our students once April 19th comes. Last but not least, we're going to give you some dates for some upcoming webinars. So we have 2 additional webinars. These will be live with students on April 14th, as well as families and students on the evening of April 15th, where we can present information, but also give parents and students a chance to ask questions of us in a live format. So all this is going to be in this presentation. So thank you in advance for taking the time to go through this video with us. We're going to start with some important timelines and important dates that are coming up very soon. First of all, you see that our spring break runs through April the 11th. We have a 2-week spring break. We hope that our students and our staff are getting much needed rest, hard-earned rest. On April 12th, so Monday, April 12th, all students return from spring break. That first week of April 12th, we will continue with full distance learning, just like we have the entire school year. Nothing changes that first week of April 12th. The following week, April 19th, though, is when all students will start the new daily schedule, regardless of whether they are an in-person blended student or a distance learning student. Schedules will change on that date. We're going to review those a little bit later in this video. April 19th is also a very exciting day for us. We get to welcome, for the first time, our 6th grade blended in-person learners to our campus. So April 19th is 6th grade only for blended learners coming back to our campus. And we can't wait to meet our new 6th graders. It's been almost a year, but we're excited to meet you in person. April 21st is the Wednesday. That's going to be the first live check-in for students. We're going to talk about how Wednesday changes in a little bit, but know that every student will check in live with every teacher on Wednesday mornings, and we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. April 22nd, that is a Thursday. That is our second very exciting day. That's when we welcome back our 7th and 8th grade blended learning in-person students. So we have some very important dates coming up, and we are excited to welcome our students back to campus. All right, we're going to start by reviewing the daily schedule for blended learning students. These are the students that will be coming on campus 4 days a week for learning starting April the 19th or April the 22nd, depending upon their grade level. So these schedules are specific to blended learning students. So you'll notice on this page, between 8:25 and 8:30, our front gates will open. Remember, there's only 1 gate per grade level. Students will go in that gate between 8:25 and 8:30. Please do not send your student to campus earlier than that. They will not be allowed to be on campus. We will not open our gates prior to 8:25, so students should not arrive prior to that time. At 8:25, our gates open. Students, once they come through the gate, they will be screened. We'll talk more about that. And they will go directly to their classroom. They can't go to the quad. They can't go out back. They can't loiter anywhere. They will need to go directly to their first class, where there will be a breakfast waiting for them. And they'll sit down at their seat and start eating their breakfast as soon as they arrive to class. If you notice, the next section is the instructional time. So between 8:45 and 11:10, 8:45 and 11:10, this is when students will have their 3 per day in-person classes for blended students. So period 1, period 2, and period 3 on Monday, periods 4, 5, and 6 on Tuesday, and so on. Notice that Wednesday is still a fully virtual day for all students. At 11:10, that is the end of the in-person instructional day for students that are blended. At that time, they'll be walked from their classroom all the way to the front of the school by their teacher to the front gates. On their way out the gate, they will have an opportunity to grab a lunch, a grab-and-go lunch, which will be in a bag or in a container that they can take with them. The students cannot eat their lunch at school. They must take it with them, and they can eat either on the way home or wherever they go after school, but they cannot eat the lunch on campus. This is a grab and go lunch. Students, if you're blended learning, notice this is not when your day ends. You still have an important part of your day that is your asynchronous time. So just like currently where you have live instruction in the morning, blended students, that will continue. You'll have your live instruction in the morning. You will still have your asynchronous time. This is independent time. You do things like work on homework, work on assignments, Lexia, ST Math, Mayan. This is the time that you're going to do that in the afternoon. It is part of your assignments, it's part of your class, and it is part of your grades. So make sure that when you leave at 11:10, you have a small break to get some lunch, but starting at 1 o'clock is your asynchronous time that you must complete every single day. All right, we're going to now transition over to the daily schedule for our distance learning students. So these are the students that will stay fully virtual. Their classes will be conducted live via Zoom as they are now, but they'll be at different times than they currently are. So our new schedule for our virtual students or our distance learning students, the morning is fully asynchronous time. So currently students are asynchronous in the afternoon. Now distance learning students will have their asynchronous time in the morning. This is when they do work from the day before, they do homework, they do Lexia, ST Math, Mayan, AR. That is the time for doing that. Their teachers will be doing live instruction with students that are physically on campus. So they will not be able to interact with their teacher during this time. This is fully independent work time in the morning. Notice then now for our distance learning students in the afternoon, starting at 12:30 is when they will have their live Zoom classes with their teachers. So starting at 12:30 all the way through 2:40, our distance learning students will be on Zoom live with their teachers. So they have asynchronous time in the morning and their live time is in the afternoon. Notice there is more in synchronous time for some ELD students after that, but that's only for ELD. We'll talk more about that in a second. So notice our distance learning students are asynchronous or independent in the morning and live with their teachers starting at 12:30 in the afternoon. If you are an ELD student, you currently have an ELD class or an Avid Excel class. Your ELD time, your new ELD time will be determined by what kind of student you are. For example, if you are a blended student, if you're a student that is physically coming to our campus 4 days a week, your ELD time will still be in the afternoon. It'll still be virtual. So you'll go home and you will have your ELD class in the afternoon between 2:40 and 3:20, 2 days a week. Don't worry, we're going to send you the schedule so you know exactly when to go. So blended students, students that are physically on campus, will continue to have their ELD in the afternoon. For distance learning students, these are students who have that asynchronous time in the morning. They're still fully virtual. Their ELD time is going to shift. Their ELD time is going to be in the morning during that asynchronous time. So because they're live with the teachers in the afternoon, they have to do their ELD in the morning. So if you're an ELD student, don't worry, we're going to be sending you, we'll work with your ELD teachers to give you your exact schedule, which will start the week of April the 19th. Keep in mind that ELD is one of your classes. It is required just like all of your other classes. You do receive a grade and we take attendance in this class. So it's very important that you attend your ELD class every time that the class is scheduled to be live. All right. So that was an overview of our schedules. We're going to now transition over into talking about some of the procedures that students will need to know for when they do physically return to campus. So these are only for our blended learning students that are coming on campus every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So first of all, this is a picture of the front of our school. It should look familiar. If you notice, I have color-coded it yellow. It's not yellow in real life, but I wanted to show you that that area there, that yellow area, that's the area between the sidewalk and our front gates. That is a student and staff area only. Parents notice that the sidewalk is still clear. So when you're bringing your student to drop them off, you need to drop them off at the sidewalk. Parents should not be anywhere near our gates or in this area that's marked yellow. A good line of delineation is the telephone pole. So you shouldn't be staying on the street side of the telephone pole. We want to make sure that our students can stay amply spread out and social distance and be safe. So parents will be reminding you, but please know that you need to stay on the sidewalk at all times. as well. Once your student enters into our campus, you are asked to leave so that we do not have too much congregation in front of our school. We want to make sure that we're keeping everybody safe. When students come to the gates, remember starting at 8:25, please do not send your students prior to 8:25. They will not be allowed onto our campus before then. We're going to do a visual screening of every student that comes in. This will include looking at them to make sure that they appear to be healthy, as well as asking some questions. We will not be taking temperatures. CDC does not recommend that students' temperatures are taken at the front gates. But it is important that parents and students do monitor at home. So we have distributed many hundreds of thermometers already. If you are still in need of one to check yourself at home or to check your student, reach out to us. We can help you with that, but we will not be taking temperatures at the front gate. Once again, a reminder, only students are allowed to approach the gate. So parents, you're going to say bye to your students here. If you walk with them, then students will immediately get in line at one of the three gates, depending upon their grade level, and parents will need to leave at that point so that we do not have too many people in front of the school. Students, remember, once you go through those gates and you're screened, your job is to go directly to your first class. We'll help you with that the first day, but that is very important that you do that. You won't be able to go to the quad or the back area. You'll go straight to your first class. All right, so speaking more of entering campus, as you can see, our campus has three very clear front gates. The gate closest to the cafeteria is our sixth grade gate. So all of our sixth graders on April 19th and 20th, when they are the only students on our campus, they will still all go through the sixth grade gate and be screened here. Our seventh grade students will be using the big gate in the middle. So this is the gate that in normal times would be open for all students. It is only open for seventh grade students. We will be having lists of students and screening students as they come through. Students must enter the same gate. If you have siblings that are different grade levels, they do need to enter in the appropriate gate for their grade level. Eighth grade students, your gate is over next to the office. Most clearly, we want to make sure that we are spreading out. We will have marks on the ground in each one of these so that students are staying spread apart as they wait to be screened at the front gates. We want to remind you parents that the front of our school, the curb is entirely red all the way across the front of our school. Parents are not allowed to park there at any time, not even just to drop your student off for a few seconds. That is not permitted. We don't want you to get a ticket. And more importantly, that is a bus zone. We do not want you blocking the buses that are coming in. We want to make sure that we can see our students and maintain social distancing and safety at all times. So please do not, for any time length at all, park in front of the school, pull up in front of the school, or drop your student off. You will likely receive a citation if you do that. We do not want that to happen. So please make sure that you are dropping your students off. We will have a crossing guard as always, so you can drop off on the opposite side of the street and have them go through the crosswalk as well. All right, some on-campus procedures. As I mentioned, gates don't open until 11:25 at the earliest. Students must go directly to the classroom. Students, as soon as they get to the classroom, will have a breakfast available for them. So every student will receive a breakfast if they choose to. The breakfast will have a water, fruit, and a small snack of some kind. This is every single day they are on campus this year. At 8:30, teachers will open their classroom doors. They will not be open later than that. They will be opened right at 8:30. So when students arrive at the door, they can come inside, grab their breakfast, and immediately sit down and start eating their breakfast in their assigned seat. So it's very important that students go directly from the gate to their classroom. Student restrooms, they will be closed before school, during passing periods, and after school. This is simply because we don't want a crowd anywhere near the restrooms. We do have, during class times, we'll have campus supervisors and adults that are stationed at every restroom to ensure that no more than 3 students are in there, that students are coming and going quickly, washing their hands and sanitizing, but we will not have those open during passing periods or before or after school when we have larger groups of students. So please encourage your student to use the restroom before they come to school. They will be allowed to go, though, from their classroom. So at 11:10 is the end of the day. Teachers will walk students to the front gate, or students will have the option of getting a grab-and-go lunch that they take with them. And students, don't forget, your asynchronous day still continues. So your day is not done just because you're leaving campus. You still have that asynchronous time in the afternoon. All right, this is a map of our school. You can see that some of our hallways now are 2 ways. Some are 1 way. It really depends upon how wide the hallway is and if we're able to physically separate it. So our hallways that are 2 ways, you can see they are the blue and the yellow. This is a good majority of our hallways. We have a physical barrier that will be in place to prevent students from walking right at each other. There'll be a divider in the middle. It's very important that students follow this. It will be an expectation for all students. Some hallways you can see are very narrow, so they are one-way only hallways. At all times, students must maintain distance between each other. We remind students, we know you haven't seen your friends for a while, but there is no hugging, there's no handshaking, there's no fist bumping, there's no physical contact at all while you're on campus. We know this is going to be hard, but we can do it. So this is how our hallways, notice up here, the red are the entry and exit points by grade level for our students. We want to take just a second here. We know our sixth grade students have not been on our campus, most of them. So really quickly, you can look at this map and see all the classrooms marked with a 6 are spots where our sixth graders go to class. So sixth graders, don't worry. The first day you're here, we're going to help you get to your classroom. We're going to get you there. Don't worry about that. But just if you want to plan ahead, you can start looking at this map and looking at your schedule and seeing which classes you're going to go to. So notice most of our sixth grade classes are in the back of the classroom or the back of the school. Do not worry. I promise you we'll help you find your classroom on that first day of school. It will be just fine. But we wanted to give you a little heads up on where the classes are. All right, so a couple other on-campus procedures. You can see our directional hallways there. We have arrows painted for both directions on all of our hallways to let students know which way the hallways go. We also have social distance markers. So if at any point students have to line up outside the classroom, we're trying to avoid that. But if they did, they would need to maintain that space by staying on those social distance markers. Student restrooms, we discussed those, that both of them will be open at all times. They'll be frequently sanitized throughout the day, and no more than 3 students at a time are allowed in the restrooms. No touch water dispensers. We've always had water dispensers for our students, but the actual water fountains where students would hold the button down and water comes out to drink, those have been turned off. The only option students have for water is to use the no-touch spout where they can put a water bottle or something to catch the water up against it so they don't have to touch it and drink that way. Keep in mind, once again, all students will receive a water in their breakfast as well. So know that the actual water fountains, the individual fountains are turned off, but students can still get water from the water dispenser touchless. All right. So done a lot of reviewing. We want to request or discuss how parents can request that change of placement for their student. Know that requests have been coming in for several weeks already. We are time stamping those, and so we know what order they came in. But we do have a priority deadline to request a change of Tuesday, March 30th at 3 p.m. It doesn't mean we won't accept requests after that, but it means at that point we're going to start honoring the requests that we have and seeing how many available spots we still have. So if you do want to request a change of placement for your student, either going from distance to blended or blended to distance, we recommend that you do call the office or stop by before 3 p.m. On Tuesday, March 30th. We cannot guarantee requests will be honored. We have to follow the guidelines of our school district, of public health and CDC. We will honor as many as we can. We want to get students back in person if the families are comfortable and want that, but we do have to follow those guidelines as well. You cannot email us with requests. You do need to call or stop by. We need to actually confirm that you are the parent making the request. So once again, you can either do that by calling us or stopping by the school. Students are not allowed to move back and forth between blended and in person. So if you start in person and there's a reason to change to blended, we will likely honor that. But we would not let you switch back at a later time. So please put a lot of thought into which format is best for your student, and know that we won't be able to fluctuate back and forth. So and so you can call us with questions. We'll help you out in any way we can, but we won't be going back and forth between the two. All right, Wednesday. I mentioned that Wednesday changes. Wednesday is going to be a little bit different. As you know, Wednesday has been an asynchronous or a non-live instruction day for our students this year. That's been independent work day. For the most part, it will stay the same, but there is one big difference. All students will be required to do a 10 to 15 minute live check-in with each of their teachers, periods 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On Wednesday, teachers will be using this time to do 2 things. They'll check attendance with this, but they will also be going over the assignments that are due for the students on this day. So in order to get attendance to be marked present for Wednesday, students must attend the live check-in. You can see the times below. This is a change for us, so please encourage your student to make sure they do check in to each one of their 6 classes at that time. Wednesday is not a day off for students. Once they check in, that doesn't mean they're done for the day. It just simply means that they've got their attendance. They still need to complete their assignments for that day. All right, we have a couple other upcoming webinars. These will actually be live webinars, so students or families can ask questions of us. The Wednesday, April 14th at 10 a.m. is a webinar for students specifically. So we will be sending this out in Canvas. We'll also share that parent information with parents, but know that Wednesday, April 14th, we will be doing a live webinar with students. It is optional, but we do want students to attend, so please encourage your student to attend. On Thursday, April 15th, so the next night, we'll be doing an English and Spanish webinar for both families and students that'll share much of the same information I have, but will likely be updated by then. It'll also give us a chance to answer live questions from parents or students during that time. All right. On this page, you can see all of our contact information. You can find this all also on our school website, but you can see here principals, assistant principals, counselors, our attendance tech, and our outreach specialist are all on here. You can also see our school phone number. You can call us. We are working the week of the first week of spring break, Monday through Thursday, so we'll be here on campus. You can call us or stop by, but know that if you email us, we will try to get back to you as soon as we can. A couple additional resources. We're almost done. First is our website. We spend a lot of time putting resources on our website. Please make sure that you check that regularly. If you go on there right now, you will not only see parent resources, but you will also see some frequently asked questions about school reopening. You'll find all of our contact information. It is a great stop for you to get lots of information from. The OSD website has additional information as well. I would recommend using the parent tab. You can find schedules, information, resources there. And last, the OSD, on the same OSD webpage, if you go under risk management, you can see all the documents developed and the plans developed by OSD for students to physically return to class. For in-person students, there's a great deal of information on that website as well. So you can check that out if you want more information about how we are responding and creating safe environments in our COVID pandemic times. All right, we've given you lots of information. We want to thank you for attending, of course, but we also want to remind you, if you aren't already following us on social media, we share information 3, 5, 6 times a week sometimes on there. It's a great way to stay up to date about everything and get reminders about what's going on at Lopez Academy. So please, if you're not already, follow us on social media. You can find all of the videos we send out, including this one, on our YouTube channel. We also will post this video on our school website. So a number of resources. We thank you. We know that this will probably create lots of questions. Know that you can reach out to us either by phone or email, and we'll do our very best to get back to you as soon as we can. But we hope this has been informative. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of your spring break.